I'm Alex Veach. Thank you, Carrie, for doing the recording. I saw that pop up. I'm Alex Veach. I'm past president of the Southwest Virginia American Advertising Federation and the current governor of the Virginia Clubs for District 3. We're really excited to be offering these partnered programs with Roanoke, Hampton Roads, and Southwest. It's been a great way to get everybody together during the pandemic. And I'm really excited today to introduce Lindsey Norment. She's going to be talking about tourism and the way tourism has been helping in the recovery. Hey, David, thanks for joining. And she's going to talk about some travel sentiment and what we're looking at moving forward as we head into recovery. So hopefully we'll get some good news from the governor at 2 o'clock today and put some of the things that Lindsey's talking about in place. So Lindsey, it's all yours.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Alex, Carrie. Thanks everyone for having me today. I'm always happy to get on, share what we're seeing and what our plans are for the year. I think I was just saying to Catherine that we are busy. It feels good to be busy. It feels good to be making some plans and feeling like they are going to come to fruition this year. So we feel really good about that, and I'm excited to share some of what we're seeing today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have some slides to walk through, but always happy to, if you have questions, please speak up. This can definitely be a conversation, and it's great to see some familiar faces as well, Catherine, David. Always happy to see some of our tourism friends. I am going to give a quick background for anyone who isn't familiar with the tourism side, just what we do at Virginia Tourism and what my job is essentially. So bear with me if some of this is repetitive. I'm going to just kind of go through quickly what it is that Virginia Tourism does. And so basically it is our job to promote the state of Virginia, to try and convince people to come here and take their vacations in Virginia. So we know that the money that is spent by travelers, it helps to fuel the economy. It provides jobs for Virginians. It improves our communities across the state. So we like to say that tourism in general helps make Virginia a great place to live, to work, and ultimately to visit, which is our main goal, is to get people to come here and visit our beautiful state. So we are, I'm the brand director, work on the brand department. I'm part of a larger marketing department at Virginia Tourism. We have a great communications team, digital team, and then the brand side. And so from the brand side, we oversee all of our paid advertising efforts and promotions. And most importantly, we're responsible for the iconic Virginia's for Lovers brand, which is over 50 years old. And we are not only lucky and fortunate to have such a beautiful state to market and to talk about, but also the strength of a really amazing brand like Virginia's for Lovers. So we're very fortunate in that way. We work with a variety of partners across the state, other tourism offices like Franklin County, Roanoke, or Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge, other attractions like Busch Gardens, Kings Dominion, breweries, local B&Bs, outdoor outfitters, you name it. If they're in the tourism space, they're our partners, and together we really have these kind of goals in mind. And from the VTC side, these are the things that we really try to stay laser focused on, that we're trying to grow Virginia's tourism economy, both from a domestic side and an international side. We want to raise awareness. We want people to know what Virginia has to offer, that we have beaches and mountains and almost everything in between. We want to increase that consideration for people to consider Virginia. People, live in Baltimore. We want them to not only know about us, but consider coming to Virginia and then ultimately visit. Come here, spend your money, and then go home. So we do that in a variety of ways. It's just a quick glance at some of the marketing and advertising efforts that we put out, that we are just trying to reach the consumer wherever they are, whether it's with a print ad, on Google search, online, through TV or video. we are trying to put out the message about Virginia and about Virginia's for lovers, and really get people to consider Virginia for their next vacation. So the good news is that we know it works. So tourism marketing remains effective at influencing visitation. We found from a study last year that 61% of our audience who were exposed to our advertising and then aware of it said that they were interested in visiting Virginia in the next year. And that is compared to 39% of those who were not exposed. So you can see there's a nice gap there that really points to the significance of marketing a destination, getting people aware of it, and then having them come and visit. So about a year and a half ago, in 2019, November 2019, I actually came and I spoke in person to the Roanoke chapter of AAF, and we were so excited to speak then. I remember that meeting; it was really fun to be with that group. But we were excited. We were launching a new campaign. This is a glimpse at what the campaign was. We were setting to launch that in the spring of 2020. All about family vacations. This one specifically was looking at some of the beach properties. And we were really looking towards a bright future, bright 2020. So we did launch this campaign in March 9th of 2020, not fully aware of what was about to happen. It was live for 5 full days. It's called Share What You Love. And we ended up pulling it after 5 days, obviously, due to COVID and all of the travel restrictions that were happening at the time. And so like many industries, like many organizations, we really found ourselves in that kind of scary unknown space, especially as a tourism brand. We had to sit there and ask ourselves, when it's irresponsible to ask people to travel, what do we do? What do we say as a tourism brand? How are we staying relevant right now? And so just give a quick glimpse. We did lots of things. We rallied as a tourism industry. We put out a campaign first of, saying kind of, we'll be waiting, just this message about, please keep Virginia top of mind. We don't know when we'll be traveling yet. We supported our partners in the restaurant industry and local farmers by hosting Restaurant Takeout Week and a Farmers Market Week. We also promoted an initiative for people to build their own love work at home, their own love signs at home, to kind of tie in with our big love initiative across the state. So throughout many ways, we were trying to get information across about Virginia, but still in that kind of more passive way. And eventually we launched a really great campaign called Wonderlove, all about road trips, which I'm going to speak to a little bit later in this presentation. Like everyone, I think that we are all pretty tired of looking back at what happened. And what I want to really spend the bulk of the presentation today talking about is our outlook for the year ahead, and really share our plans based off of what we're seeing, the projections and forecasts for the tourism industry. And we're feeling really good. Travel confidence is up. We're looking forward to a bright year, and I hope I don't jinx myself by saying that, because I said that the last time I presented to some of this group, but we are really looking forward to a good year. And so I'm going to use the next couple slides to kind of dig into some of the research that we are seeing right now. We have a fantastic research team at Virginia Tourism, and we have access to a lot of fantastic resources that you all can be exposed to as well. So if you are interested after this presentation, please let me know, and I'm happy to share where some of this information is coming from. Just a look first, pulling out from the high level, looking at the US economy and what those projections are. So the good news here is that they're truly expecting a GDP growth of 5.9% in 2021. And this is really looking at the increased vaccinations. There's stable household finances, and then business and housing activity is strong. And so all of these going together is really great outlook for how 2021 is going to continue to look. Employment is set to rebound as early as this spring. So kind of looking at how that has progressed. It's really fantastic to see that by this spring, as early as this spring, that employment is really set to kind of jump back, start to recover. Looking at consumer spending, this is a good story for 2021. Despite the millions of people out of work, the financial and household economy is in good shape. So people who typically spend money on travel and services like restaurants, going out to eat, they are financially healthy throughout this pandemic. And so based off of that and the fact that about 60% of the population over the age of 15 will be vaccinated by early summer, all of that together, the projections there is that when people are able to spend money on those services again, like travel and restaurants, going out to eat, they will do so. And so it's looking really strong in terms of consumer spending as we look at the rest of this year. So looking more at bringing it down a little bit, looking at the domestic travel forecast. So knowing kind of how it's looking at the economy, for the US economy, how are we doing for travel? What's it looking like? So the good news is that travel activity is definitely expected to improve this summer and improve substantially. So again, I just mentioned that there are great things happening with vaccines, populations getting vaccinated, and they're really predicting that by early summer, a lot of people will be vaccinated. That's really going to lead the way in terms of travel recovering. So the graph that I have on the side here, this is looking at the number of trips that they're projecting. Obviously, you can see what was happening in 2020 and kind of this gradual recovery. The number of trips is not expected to recover to the 2019 levels until the end of 2022. But what you can see is that within 2021, there's some significant recovery rates happening, which is really fantastic to see. So looking at how people are traveling, road trips is very strong. You can see that light blue line is auto travel. That one didn't take as big of a hit at all and has recovered quite quickly and will continue to do so. Air travel is really expected to continue to get better at the latter part of 2021 and recover strongly in 2022. So you can see really taking some big strides as you get into 2022 back for air travel. And then just looking at travel spending. So although travel is looking strong, it will be recovering. Actual travel spending, people are spending less on trips. So we are going to have a slower recovery on the actual spending. You can see that not expected to recover to the 2019 levels until after 2024. This is really looking at things like how business travel is affected and how long haul travel is affected. People are not taking those super long trips like possibly they were in 2019. There's also going to be just some lingering effects with the recession kind of playing into effect here. Looking again, we're going to go a little bit further down now how travel is impacted in Virginia. And so the good news is that Virginia's tourism spending is really on path for recovery, and we will reach our 2019 spending levels in 2023. So that's a little bit sooner than what they're predicting kind of overall from the national level. So that is good to see. And this chart really is just showing you kind of that gradual recovery. The pandemic really pushed the travel metrics to the lowest point possible. And so there will be a slow and a multi-year recovery as we kind of get back into things. Virginia really follows the US-wide pattern. So what that means is that we are seeing some very similar trends that are happening across the US, happening in Virginia as well. There's heavy visitation to outdoor spots, to national parks, to state parks. These are benefiting really greatly during this time. For destinations, the beach, these things are seen, have really experienced some high visitation. On the flip side of that, the major urban corridors, places that really depended on the business travel, those are underperforming. It might take them a little bit longer to come back in that way. any areas that, for example, destinations that are located right off of busy interstates like Interstate 95, they are experiencing some increases in travel due to transportation and logistics. So if you think about it, more people are shopping online, consumer spending in that way, there's more shipping, there's just more traffic on these busy interstates that actually, you know, maybe, for example, the hotels that are located right off the interstate, they're actually benefiting quite well from an increase in transportation and logistics in that way. So that was just a quick look at how things are projected for this year, what the forecast is. It's so important we take all of that into account. There's so many more. And one thing I wanted to point out at the bottom of these graphs, I've put kind of this credit. US Travel, they are a fantastic resource for us. They have a travel recovery insights dashboard. That is where I pulled some of these graphs and charts. That was just a small fraction of what they have to offer. So many good insights. And I believe that if you are in the tourism industry, you have access to that dashboard. I'm happy to get more information for you if you are interested. If you do not know or haven't been aware of this, let me know and I can make sure that we get some sort of information to you on that. But so along with just looking at what's happening with the economy, with travel, we also like to look at like who the traveler is. Who are we trying to reach? Who are we trying to put our ads in front of? And what's really important is to think about that the 2021 traveler will think, act, feel, and travel differently from any other year. We are all different from before 2020. And so the way that we travel, the way that we think about travel is going to be very different. If we take a step back and just think about some of these things, there is going to be, already is, but a major pent up demand for travel. We just spent a year having major health concerns, working from home, social distancing, restricted travel, virtual everything. This has really led to this feeling of cannot wait to disconnect, to relax, to get away from everything that I've been surrounded by. This idea of working remote is not going to go anywhere too quickly. So a lot of people will be working remotely, which means that they can work from many places. So this idea of work vacations, workcations, kind of swapping the home office for an ocean office, getting to take a long weekend and you're still working on Thursday and Friday, you're just going to work from the beach house that you rented and log in there, and then you still have the weekend away. So never before have we been able to be so virtually connected in this way, and everything's happening like that. That there is, definitely a trend of these workcations and people being able to log in from anywhere. Zoom gloom is a real thing. It's for anyone who has spent a lot of time sitting on presentations and meetings on Zoom, you just feel depleted by the end of it. So there's an eagerness to detach from all of that, detach from the virtual space and to truly disconnect. Missed moments. Many people, everyone, I would say, had a missed moment in 2020, whether it was a birthday, an anniversary, some sort of big celebration, celebrating the way that maybe you used to, getting to see friends, weddings, whatever it is. Everyone missed a big moment. And so there will be this, again, kind of pent up demand or this eagerness to make up those moments or to not miss the next moment. And so when it's safe to do so, that feeling of really trying to get back out there and celebrate some of those things, maybe all at once, but that can be a strong part of what the 2021 traveler is thinking about, how to make up some of these missed moments. And finally, parents need a break. For anyone who has children at home and spend a large part of the pandemic, not only working from home, but also helping out with the kids in the house and having them at school working remotely. So there will be a rise in couples traveling without kids when it's safe to do so, and really kind of getting away from that. So looking at, we look at a lot of research about what people want, their reasons for travel, why they want to travel. So looking ahead, this survey came out and it's very evident that we all need a break. The top 3 things that you can see here People want to travel to take a break from everyday life. They want to rest and relax, and for their mental and physical well-being. This is not like, I think that we could all agree in the past, we always took vacations to take a break or to rest and relax. But to have the top 3 slots in a very heavy way, I mean, 92% of people said they need to take a break from their everyday life. We've never seen it this high and kind of have the top 3 slots in terms of all encompassing that people need a break. So most consumers are really looking to relax and disconnect. And just because I always think it's interesting to look back, I presented this slide, this graph, when I spoke to the AAF Roanoke chapter in 2019. This is what people were looking for in a vacation. They wanted a destination that could offer good food and cuisine, good beaches, outdoor festivals and events. That is a very typical responses that we saw. You know, each year we would see very similar situations. In 2020, travelers are looking for a place that can offer rest and relaxation, good value, and residents that are following health and safety guidelines. So just looking back at that list in 2019 and where that mindset was then versus now, yes, you can see going down this list right in front of us. Outdoor rec, still great. Food, cuisine, people are still interested in that. That's all part of the vacation experience. They want beaches and scenic drives and small towns and history. All of those things were still very evident in that first list. But what we're seeing rise to the top is the need to relax, good value, because financial concern is still very strong, and then health and safety. So people do want to go to a place that they feel is safe, and people are following those health guidelines that if there's a mask mandate in place, that they can go into a store and people are wearing masks. So those sort of situations are things that we're going to be laser focused on in terms of what we need to be talking about with Virginia. So thinking about some of the travel barriers, this shouldn't come as any surprise that people are still incredibly concerned about COVID. 63% of Americans are highly concerned right now still. Now, this has, you can see on that chart on the side there, this is definitely gone all over the place. It's certainly not the highest it's been. There's still a high level of concern for COVID-19 when thinking about travel. The good news is that right now, things are looking really good for how people are thinking about travel, very open to travel inspiration. People are doing some planning and dreaming in the travel space. So we're seeing a high right now for 2021 at 73% of American travelers actually did some travel planning and dreaming in the last week alone. So it's good to know people are very open to, okay, we can think about travel, we could possibly plan it for, later in the year, and feeling pretty good about that happening. And again, we know that when people are open to the messaging and when they're exposed to our marketing, it works. So again, just kind of throwing up this stat of when we can put our marketing out in front of people and they're aware of it, they're exposed to it, they're aware of it, it works. So it's more important than ever that, in my job at the state level, we are really trying to get the message out about Virginia so that as people are starting right now, like you kind of saw that they're a lot more open right now to that travel inspiration and thinking and dreaming, for us to be out in the market and really showing them that Virginia can offer those experiences. So that kind of leads us to, that was a lot of research and a lot that we're looking at, but it really does lead us to what we're focusing on for the year. These are kind of like our key areas of focus. It is what our campaigns are probably most focused on, but we have lots of things that we talk about to represent the state. We have a website and a blog and social channels that are just constantly talking about all kinds of things. But when we think about some of our focuses and our campaigns that are coming out this year, they're around these areas. So health and safety, you saw that is a top concern for people. So this image that I put up here of this lady holding a beer, these are a lot of, we're looking to make sure that we can put out some of these images to show people that you can come visit Virginia and it can still be in a safe way. So there are experiences that you can do that are safe, and we want to show that through imagery where possible. The other thing is road trips. The road trip is not going anywhere. We know 63% of Americans plan to travel by car as their first trip in 2021. So we really want to continue to get that message out that Virginia is a fantastic destination to travel by car. In fact, we've always been a really strong drive market. So this is even further goes to strengthen what Virginia can offer for people. Disconnect to Reconnect is a main focus of our big out-of-state campaign. When we originally started Share What You Love, it had the Disconnect to Reconnect theme. It had a very different feel from what it is now. We're really going to lean into that idea of people disconnecting from the chaos of their life, physically disconnecting from Zooms and email and their home office, and reconnecting with their loved ones on a trip, and using Virginia as that place to do that. And then our final kind of area of focus is diversity and equity and inclusion. Another big part of 2020 was a lot that happened in the space of diversity and inclusion. And we are really striving to position Virginia as a welcome destination for all, with a big emphasis this year on Black travel. We want to create a sense of belonging for everyone, but we are really leaning into showcasing Virginia as a place that is welcome to the Black travel experience, what that is and what that looks like. So diving into some of those campaigns that we're working on and that will be coming out. Wonderlove is a campaign that we actually did start last year. It will continue this year. We're kind of relaunching next week with some new creative that it will be coming out. Wonderlove is our big road trip campaign. It really highlights low risk travel experiences in Virginia. Our goal here was to drive that immediate impact with in-state audiences. So we really wanted to get Virginians to start to flex their travel muscle again, in a way. Get out, get in your car, drive, do a drive for an afternoon. If you feel comfortable staying overnight somewhere, do that. Go visit a love work, go see a small town you haven't seen before, go take a hike that you haven't done before. So just like these things that still offer social distancing, maybe you stay in your car the whole time, maybe it's just a drive around, but ultimately to get people used to planning and traveling again in a safe way and continuing to promote that. So we created some really great road trip videos, itinerary-based content to really get in front of travelers and hopefully get them to explore around Virginia. So we are continuing this campaign. Here's a quick look. This hasn't been shared before. It's kind of a sneak peek that we're going to share out very soon with some of our partners, but just some high level results from 2020. This campaign that ran, I believe we started in August last year. And so just looking that we really got in front of a lot of people, 20 million impressions. We had over 200,000 visits to our website from this campaign alone, 278,000 emails that were opened all about Wonderlove, 1.7 million video views. And the most important thing that we're really, really proud of is the partner participation. So we put out a grant with this campaign. We had a lot of partners participate with us in this campaign. So we were all talking about Wonderlove and how to Wonderlove in Virginia and how to road trip and experience all of that. And so this is a very small piece of looking at who participated, but we had some fantastic partners from around the state. And I wish I could just include like everyone on this, but I was told that the town of Marion got an award for their participation in this campaign. We just saw some really, really great, our partners are so creative and they took this campaign and they ran with it. And so this is going to continue to be a big part of our promotion this year to really talk about Virginia as that road trip destination. Share What You Love. We're going to relaunch it. We are excited to finally have this come out. So this will launch actually in May. We are pushing this out a little bit. We're going to let Wonderlove kind of start things off for us and get that road trip angle and some of those safe travel experiences out first. And then we're pushing out our Share What You Love campaign, which is our big out-of-state campaign. Again, the goal here is really to get in front of people who are not aware of Virginia and get them to think about Virginia and to eventually come here. So we have a campaign this spring and summer, and then one in the fall. The spring and summer one really focuses on family experiences And then the fall one will focus on this couple. We did not hire actors. These are real families. Were not familiar with Virginia at all. They had never been to Virginia. So we brought them here. The couple at the bottom there, they have 4 children, I think 4 or 5 children. They left their kids at home. They came to Virginia, had this amazing experience. So that's exactly what we want to promote this fall is, a lot of parents are going to be very eager once they feel okay to do so, to be able to get away and spend some time together. So we're excited about that. And then last but not least, like I mentioned, we are putting together an initiative to really focus on positioning Virginia as a welcome place, an inclusive destination for all. And so right now the campaign details are coming together, but we are going to have a push April through June for a Black Travel Initiative, and then really ongoing from there. So a lot of different things in the works. We have an actual campaign going, but then a lot of things that we're building out. Resources for our partners to help educate and learn, and they have questions about how they can make their destination more inclusive, more diverse, but really looking at different ways. That's kind of why we call it more of an initiative. There are many things at play here that we're hoping that we're really excited to come out this year. So I believe that's it. I am happy to take any questions that you have. I think I ran through that pretty quickly, but yeah, happy to take any questions or talk through anything. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there and listening today. It was, I was worried. I heard my dog out there. I was telling Alex and Carrie before that my dog, this is her nap time, and she comes in here and she will just like snore up a storm. So luckily we didn't have that. But thank you, David. I'm reading the comments here. Yes, and we had so many great partner participation. That was my favorite, just seeing how many different partners participated in our Wonderlove campaign. And it's that template that we had a campaign that our partners could really attach to and run with is something that will continue for us. It worked really well and we were excited about it. So fantastic.
I guess I'll throw a question out there. So I work with the Roanoke Outside Foundation in my day job. And, one of the things that we keep talking about with tourism and inviting people to visit is that fine line between being COVID friendly and inviting people in, and like, how do you deal with that messaging?
Yes, I mean, because there's a lot of things that you can't control that are out of our control, and how people act or I think that more than anything, what we've discussed is that when people are nervous or scared or anxious about situations, the more information you can give to help them make that decision, the better. So like we try to be very upfront about as much as possible about what procedures and protocols are being followed in different areas of the state, what people can expect when they get to a place. I think that that's first and foremost. Like we were really trying to be that information hub or point where we can point travelers to find the information that they need to make that decision. So, the use of imagery, we identified that really needed to be incorporating that into our marketing so that people could see, oh, okay, if I go to visit this place, it looks like hopefully, people are staying safe. The other thing that we actually found worked really well was we worked with different influencers or photographers that we hired around the state and went and captured things in their own way, like their own point of view. They went in and they showed what things really looked like. And it was a way for not like us to say, hey, we're safe. It was a way for other people, third parties, basically, to go out and to show this is what it's like in these areas. That you may not think that this is a safe area, but this is what it's like, or, really showing this is how you can go and eat outside on a patio in Abingdon, or, kind of those ways. So there were a lot of different things that we thought of. I mean, ultimately you can't control, we can't come out and say like, everything's safe, but we can at least give the information we have.
we find it really hard to limit like pictures with large groups in them. Like that's been our like very concerted, like, yeah, these huge events are fun, but I think people feel better if they can see an event photo with small groups.
Yeah, and I agree. I think we did pull down a few on our website last year that were kind of big groups. I think as we get back to it, people will start to feel more comfortable seeing those pictures, but I don't know when that will be. But yeah, things like that. Exactly.
And Lindsay, this is Bill. I have a quick question, and maybe Alexandra, you could help. When a community like Marion partners with the state, how does that come about? You mentioned grants earlier, but are there other ways that the cities and the counties connect with your agency to create a multiplier effect with the dollars that are available?
Yeah, I'm happy to kind of speak first. We do have a lot of different grants available. We have a lot of different resources available to our partners. So even if it's not like a grant situation, as an example, we have like a great co-op advertising program available with all kinds of resources that partners can get in and participate. So advertising just at a much lower rate. We have a lot of partners that we see that partner together on some of those resources. We have a great website that I'm happy to share with you, Bill, on some how you can actually have access to some of those resources and what might be helpful. I don't know, Alex, if you had anything that you wanted to add.
Yeah, I just want to add, if you're not connected, if you're in the travel industry and not currently connected with VTC or with your local Commission and Visitors Bureau, or with your county, sometimes chambers of commerce are part of that. Getting connected wherever you can is a great way to do it. And those VTC resources are huge. So definitely check them out online, but get connected. Every region has a representative. So get connected with Michelle Workman and Becky Nave are our representatives here, Roanoke and down. So those are some other ways to get connected if you're not yet.
I'm happy to share out a lot of that information after this. Alex, if you would like to share that with everyone on the group about who the representative is in the area, and then some of these resources that we have available, how you can sign up for them.
Absolutely. We had a couple of questions pop into the chat. I'm trying to get to them here. Tom asked, some travel, tourism, lodging advertisers are citing the need to reconsider all their media budgets, many admitting they're not sure how they will adjust post-COVID. Any advice on how these rebounders should think about marketing Q3 and further?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's been really hard to try and, I'll speak for ourselves. We had a really hard time trying to decide when we come out with our big Share What You Love campaign again. When is the best time to spend that money? So that we can be in front of people when they're thinking about travel, but when are they actually going to travel? It's really hard to know the comfort level. This is such a different thing with people, like this is a deep like safety issue, right? So I think that seeing a lot of the research that we have access to right now, things are looking very strong for recovery for the first time in the whole past year. Things were really unsure last year. I think with vaccines coming out, it really does point to some strong reasons for recovery. So I want to make sure I'm answering your question. Not sure how they will adjust post-COVID. Nice. So I do think so timing wise, latter part of the year, like trying to think like that's when a bulk of people will really truly feel safe traveling. So that's timing. In terms of where to think, like knowing that people are not doing the long haul travel, they're not really going to get on flights too much. So think about the closer markets, how you can really access those closer, leaning into how people are going to feel safely traveling. So getting in their car, some of those low risk experiences. I think staying a little bit closer with marketing efforts, reaching people who truly, it's a little bit easier to get to that destination. And in terms of the channels there, I think if you have a lower budget or you're being more conservative with the budget, a lot of places that really make your dollar stretch further, places like social media, places like Google search, we saw just great success with Google search. So leaning into some of these places that maybe aren't going to be super, I don't know, it's hard to say without knowing, kind of what the goals are there, but trying to try some things out first as people are still really trying to figure out how they're traveling. I hope that answered your question, Tom.
David asked if we're recording this. Yeah, we are. We'll send that out. It'll be through AAF Roanoke on their YouTube channel. And anything that Lindsay wants to follow up with, we'll get that out to everybody who participated. And David, thank you for the reminder, vatc.org, signing up for the newsletters. That travel post is definitely helpful. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. We do try to send out those newsletters with some of our current resources. So that is good.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Deborah. Good to see you. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you all for joining us. We have a great group here today. Lindsay, thank you so much for all the work that you've done over the last year. And I mean, I can't tell you how invaluable it's been. Obviously, I'm not with the town of Marion anymore. I'm with the state park. But just knowing what the experience was like coming from a DMO last year, you all were definitely invaluable to us. We couldn't have done it without VTC. I'm going to throw it to Carrie Cousins with AAF Roanoke. She's going to talk to you all about our next program for April. We're trying to do some different things, and this one is definitely timely and something that is growing in the communications arena. So thanks again, Lindsay, and Carrie will wrap it up for us.
Awesome. Coming up next month, and again, Lindsay, thank you. It was great to see you, even though it wasn't in person this time.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Thank you guys so much.
Coming up next month, you can go ahead and mark your calendars for April 21st, also at this same time at noon. We are going to do a deep dive into Clubhouse. I don't know how many of you are on Clubhouse yet, or are you going, what in the heck is Clubhouse? If you haven't ventured into the world of Clubhouse, it is a highly addictive app on Apple only at this point. So if you're an Android user, that might be why you don't know much about it. That is an all audio feedback channel. It is essentially like every professional conference you've been to on steroids on your phone 24/7. You can hop into live chats about different topics that relate to you. You can actually talk to other people in these chat rooms. And it's a great resource and a lot of fun. It's kind of addictive when you are sitting on your phone, you're like, MC Hammer just opened a room on something you're interested about. Do you want to join? And you're kind of like, yeah, I think I do. So it's super fun. So we're going to do a deep dive into Clubhouse and give you what you need to know as a marketer and advertiser too, because it's one of these kind of emerging avenues that may be great for us somewhere down the line. And we're also going to have some Clubhouse invites to give away. So if you're not on Clubhouse and you sign up for the program, you might get a personal invitation to join. So we will start having information about that via email and on our social channels very soon.
All right. Thank you, Carrie. And thanks again for everyone for joining. Keep an eye out for some more great programs coming your way from the Virginia American Advertising Federation clubs. I hope you all have a great day.